If you're joining us on WION at this hour, here's where things stand as of now. Russia launched an all-out invasion of Ukraine by land, air and sea. Since the Cold War, Russian President Vladimir Putin says his aim is to demilitarize and denazify Ukraine. Missiles rained down on Ukrainian cities and explosions were heard near the capital Kyiv. 40 Ukrainian soldiers and 10 civilians have been killed so far. The Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky called on all citizens who were ready to defend the country to come forward, saying that Kyiv would issue weapons to everyone who wants them. The European Union will freeze Russian assets, halt the access of its banks to the European financial markets, and target Kremlin interests over its barbaric attack. According to officials, US President Joe Biden said that Washington and its allies would impose severe sanctions over what he called Putin's premeditated war. Ukraine's military said it destroyed 4 Russian tanks near the eastern city of Kharkiv, killed 50 troops in the Luhansk region, and downed 6 Russian aircraft. Central European countries started preparations to receive people fleeing Ukraine as dozens of cars queued on the Moldovan border. Ukraine closed its airspace to civilian flights, while Russia suspended the movement of commercial vessels in the Azov Sea. Here's what we will keep tracking in the next few hours. Biden will meet with his G7 counterparts to map out harsher measures against Russia. Meanwhile, EU leaders will discuss further sanctions at an emergency meeting. NATO ambassadors will also hold an emergency meeting, and the UN Security Council will discuss a resolution condemning the invasion. European central bank policymakers are also gathering for what may have become a crisis meeting. Let's now get you up to date with the latest developments as we understand and as we have been tracking. Earlier this morning, Russian President Vladimir Putin announced a military operation in Ukraine. This was followed by Ukraine's Interior Ministry clearly saying that Russia's invasion has begun. There were reports of troops crossing the border from multiple directions, and explosions rang out through multiple cities in Ukraine, including the capital, Kyiv. Now, for more on this, we are being joined by Gireesh Ganeshan, who is a final year Indian student. He's studying at the Kyiv Medical University. Gireesh, welcome to WION World is One.
Thank you, ma'am.
I want to begin by asking you about your safety. Where are you currently, and have you spoken to your family back home? Have you been in touch with embassy officials about a possible evacuation?
Ma'am, I am right now in Kyiv, the capital of Ukraine. And yes, my family, in fact, they are the first who called me and informed me about what's happening out here, because here the media and online, everything are under control from yesterday. Everything is under screening, so we can't get much of information from the websites or YouTube or anything. So my friends and family informed me about, and when I woke up with a bombing sound. So it was very distressing.
Gireesh, I just want to cross-check what you just said. Are you being able to access social media or YouTube platforms or any other platforms to access any updates about this conflict?
We are able to access it, but all these new posts, they will be taken out within seconds or minutes after uploading regarding Russia or Ukraine. So we get less of information than you in India.
So I'm just clarifying once again, as a student in Ukraine at the moment, you are getting very less information about what's happening actually around you.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, that's like from the from the digital media, we are getting less information. All we know is what's happening around us by our calls and by our eyes. That's it. More than that, we are on you.
Right. Gireesh, tell us about what's happening in Kyiv right now. What is the situation on ground? Is there fear at your university, especially among the foreign students, about what lies ahead?
Today early morning, it started. We all woke up with all these sounds, and everyone were running around. When I looked from my balcony, people were running, people were tracking cars. They were trying to elope. And most of the people, even I'm living in a flat, an apartment, most of my neighbors, they flew to Poland and to the borders. But when I call them now, they are stuck in the traffic, kilometers and kilometers of traffic jam. And my college, when I tried to contact them, they were like irresponsible, to be honest. Until yesterday, they were telling, you can go home, you have offline classes. And when I called the embassy day before yesterday, they also told, if you want to leave, you can leave. They were not giving me a yes or no answer. They were telling like, you can do as you want to. So that's my biggest sadness now, because if embassy said yes, we would have gone by now. They said you can stay if you want to. They didn't say clearly. We wanted a solid answer. And for now, people are gathering at my hostel, because my hostel has a bunker underground. But I don't think the people from the 14 floors can fit in there. So I didn't go. And the most reason is all these hostels that they are in the center, and from there I have to travel 1.5 hours to the airport, and we should get to either 3 of the bridges. And for now, I am in just 15 minutes away from the airport, and I don't have to get through any bridges. So I am still staying here. I'm alone at home. I don't know what will happen in the coming moments. In fact, in the morning when I told...
From whatever you're saying, Gireesh, it's very evident that there's a lot of uncertainty, especially among foreign students. Have you had a word with your university about any kind of security measures, a possible evacuation? We know that the Indian government is trying to evacuate students as soon as possible.
Yes, ma'am. I tried to contact our university people, but in the morning they were not answering our calls, and later they just posted some information regarding what we should follow. They were telling you should follow whatever official information is given by your embassy or your district authorities. Like here, Kyiv has a mayor, like that. From yesterday, it has been from here, like from yesterday morning, it has been martial rule here, restrictions in traveling, gathering, and everything.
So the martial law that you've just mentioned that was imposed by the Ukrainian president, tell us more about how that has impacted your life. We've spoken to some other students as well who say that they've been rushing to get groceries, rushing to the market to get necessities in a sense. And we've seen visuals of roads clogged in Kyiv, in the Ukrainian capital. Tell us more about that.
True, ma'am. When I woke up, I was I was thinking like downstairs in the ground floor itself, there is an ATM. So I was thinking I will take some money from there, because afterwards, like last week, our ATMs, everything was, the website was down. So I was thinking I will withdraw some money. But by the time I got there was a long queue. Long queue means there was like 30 plus people. And I was like, they were looking at like, I was like something out of, the black sheep and like that. We foreigners here, especially Indians, we feel unsafe, because in Ukraine itself there are people who support Ukraine as well as Russia, and we will be like the one not in the group among them. Even if we go to the bunkers, we don't know if we will be put like aside, because we are just foreigners, and especially students, not big people.
Gireesh, thank you so much for sharing your experiences with us on WION World is One. Stay safe. WION World is One is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news updates on the move.